Hi there! So, if you know anything whatsoever about video games, you'll have come across the term one-up. It's adorned on water bottles, mugs, cafes, it really is everywhere. But while nowadays we know it to mean extra life, why is that? Why does one-up mean extra life? Well, to find out why, we need to take a look back to the days before Mario had grabbed a single coin, before Pacman had packed a single pack. We need to look to pinball. In the 1960s, pinball was at its height, but with the introduction of two-player machines, manufacturers were posed with a question. How could they tell each player when it was their turn to play? Their solution was having two small up lights next to each player's score that would light up when it was their turn, effectively telling the players when player 1 was up or when player 2 was up. In the next decade, manufacturers began shortening this player 1 up to simply 1 up and 2 up. And that was how it stayed for the next few years. But in the 70s, a little thing called arcade games came along. Again, these manufacturers needed a way to show whose turn it was and whose score was whose. Most companies decided to stick with the 1-up, 2-up system, including Nintendo in their breakout hit Donkey Kong. As they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But a few years later, that's exactly what Nintendo themselves would do with their again breakout hit Super Mario Bros. In this game, when the player collects a green mushroom, giving them an extra life, the game exclaims 1-up. So, what prompted this change in meaning? Well, the exact reason isn't known, but I think there are two main possibilities. It could have originated from the same meaning as all the way back in the pinball days. When the game tells you 1-up, it's letting you know that player 1 is up again, i.e. they have another turn. However, I think that's unlikely. You see, if Luigi collects an extra life, the game doesn't say 2-up, it still says 1-up. So, what's the other reason? Well, there's this concept in the Japanese language called wasei eigo, or Japanese-made English. This is where English words are adopted into the Japanese language, but with a different meaning to how English people would use them. For example, the Japanese word for stapler is hotchkiss, named after a prominent staple manufacturer of the 1930s. Most Japanese people don't realise that English speakers don't call it a hotchkiss. Another example of this concept is up, as in level up, for example. In Japan, the suffix up is often added to the ends of words to signify that they've gone up. Weight up means you've gained weight, manner up means you've learned your manners, and level up means you've gone up a level. Now, if one of the original developers of Super Mario Bros. Saw that phrase 1-up being used in arcade games, they might have misunderstood it to be one of these up phrases, meaning to go up by 1 life. Well, whatever the reason for this new usage was, it quickly caught on after Super Mario Bros. That game was pretty popular, you see. And before long, 1-up had taken on its current meaning, to gain an extra life. Neat. Hi there! I hope you found that little history lesson interesting. I always get carried away looking up the etymology of words. I think it's super interesting. Ooh, and if you want to subscribe, I'm sure my channel would appreciate a 1-up. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist saying that. I'll see myself out now. Bye!